Hey, look, it's snowing! Pokemon cards. But today we're going to take a look at Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope. Hello, and welcome to Parents Guide to Games. My name is Stefan. Please like, share, and subscribe. Here are the games coming up October 18th, 2022. The first game on our list is A Plague Tale Requiem. It's coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood and gore, strong language, and violence. This is an adventure game in which players assume the role of a girl fleeing the hardships and struggles of 14th century France. From a third-person perspective, players avoid swarms of rats and use stealth tactics to sneak around soldiers. One method to deterring a rat is to lure them to a corpse or soldiers who are showing screaming as they are bitten or eaten. Cutscenes depict characters being impaled by swords, struck by arrows or maces, and stabbed with spears. Some game environments contain corpses that have been impaled, burned, and partially eaten or mutilated. Swear words appear in the dialogue. Next up is Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. This is on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions: alcoholic references, comic mischief, fantasy violence, and language. This is an action game in which players complete either as Ghost or Ghostbuster in a multiplayer matches. As Ghostbuster, players can explore locations from first-person perspectives while using proton packs to capture and trap ghosts. As a Ghost, players traverse locations from a third-person perspective while haunting objects, summoning minions, and sliming Ghostbusters with blast attacks. Combat is somewhat frantic, highlighted by laser-like blasts, screen-shaking effects, and cries of pain. The game includes some off-color and bathroom humor in the dialogue, a brewery level containing signs with frosty beer mugs and other alcoholic references. Swear words appear in the game. Now let's take a look at Them's Fightin' Herds. This is on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions: alcoholic references, fantasy violence, and use of tobacco. This is an action game in which players assume the role of cartoony animals battling evil forces. Players explore dungeon locations, search for artifacts, and encounter cartoony enemies to fight. Battles are presented in stylized one-on-one fights, with animal characters punching, kicking, and using special moves to deplete opponents' health bars. Fights are highlighted by impact sounds, light effects, and cries of pain. Among dozens of items, players can obtain fermented grape juice and bottles of champagne. Costumes include cigarette and pipes with wisps of smoke. Now let's get into Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. This got on PC, the rating is teen. Content descriptions: blood, language, use of alcohol and tobacco, and violence. This is a collection of 2 action-adventure games in the Uncharted franchise. Players can assume the role of Nathan Drake and Cole Fraser, explorers searching for valuable artifacts while fending off villainous rivals. From a third-person's perspective, players explore ruins, collect treasure, and battle enemy soldiers and other human characters. Characters use pistols, machine guns, shotguns, grenades, and blades to attack each other. Combat is highlighted by realistic gunfire, large explosions, and blood splatter effects. Some areas allow players to use stealth takedowns and or melee attacks to incapacitate enemies. A handful of sequences depict characters getting stabbed or beaten with clubs. Some scenes depict corpses or wounded characters with blood-stained skin and clothes. During the course of the game, characters can be seen smoking cigarettes or cigars. A handful of scenes depict characters drinking bottles of beer or glasses of scotch. Swear words appear in the dialogue. And the next game on our list is Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope. It's coming on Nintendo Switch. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions: cartoon violence. This is a strategy game in which players control characters from the Mario and Rabbids universe as they defend the kingdom from evil. From a top-down perspective, players explore whimsical landscapes, collect coins, and engage in turn-based battles with various enemies. Characters use cartoony blasters, explosion, and melee weapons to defeat enemies that disappear when the health bars and the hit points are depleted. Cutscenes and attack animations sometimes feature slow motion effects. Battles are highlighted by explosions and futuristic cartoony gunfire. The next game we'll take a look at is Second Extinction. This is coming on Xbox Series X and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptions: blood and gore, language, and violence. This is a co-op first-person shooter in which players fight to save Earth from hordes of dinosaurs. Players use machine guns, shotguns, rifles, and explosions to kill a variety of dinosaurs that attack in waves. Combat is highlighted by realistic gunfire, radio chatter, and large blood splatter effects. Some weapons cause dinosaurs to explode into chunks of flesh and limbs. A large-scale satellite laser can cause the battlefield to be covered in dinosaur limbs and blood. And now let's take a look at Gotham Knights. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is teen. The content descriptions: violence, blood, language, use of alcohol, and tobacco. Batman is dead. A new expansive criminal underworld has swept the streets of Gotham. It is now up to the Batman family, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin to protect Gotham, bring hope to its citizens, discipline to its cops, and fear to the criminals. From solving mysteries that connect the darkest chapters in the city's history to defeating notorious villains and epic confrontations, you must evolve into the new Dark Knight and save the streets from descent into chaos. Swear words are also heard in the dialogue. Next up is New Tales from Borderlands. This coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptions: blood and gore, intense violence, partial nudity, sexual themes, strong language, and use of alcohol. This is a narrative-driven adventure game in which players allow the story of characters on a quest to harness the power of a crystal. As players progress through the story, they can perform action choices by performing on-screen prompts. Some choices lead to intense acts of violence: a close-up of a woman stabbed in the neck, a man shot through the chest, a character stabbed in the eye. Blood splatter effects accompanies these sequences. A handful of sequences depict decapitated corpses, dismembered limbs, and exposed organs. The game contains some references to sexual material in the dialogue. Some female characters appear partially nude with close-up depictions of exposed breasts and buttocks, though with no discernible details. During the course of the game, player characters can use funnel contraptions to repeatedly consume champagne. Swear words are heard in the game. And the last game on today's list with a full description is Persona 5 Royal. This coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptions: blood, drug references, partial nudity, sexual themes, strong language, and violence. This is a role-playing game in which players assume the role of a high school student who enters an alternate universe and uses special powers to change the hearts of people in the real world. As players explore themed areas in the metaverse, they engage in turn-based combat against fantasy creatures. Characters use blades, pipes, firearms, and personas to defeat enemies. Battles are highlighted by light effects, impact sounds, and cries of pain. Some cutscenes depict characters ripping masks off their faces as blood sprays. One cutscene depicts a man shooting another character in the head at close range. Blood is shown pooling on the floor and splattering the victim's clothes. Several female monsters and personas are depicted with exposed breasts, and a handful of creatures have phallic-shaped heads, torsos, and appendages. Various personas have sexual characteristics that are depicted in text. Dialogue also includes sexual references. Drug smuggling for the Mafia is briefly discussed during the side quest. Swear words are here in the dialogue. And the rest of the games on today's list are also coming out, but no information was available. Thank you to bensound.com for the music track. Please follow Parents Guide to Games on YouTube at Parents Guide to Games, on Facebook at Parents Guide to Games, on Twitter at ParentsG2G, and email any questions or concerns at parentsg2g@gmail.com. And always, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.